What is up, guys and gals? Welcome to episode number 220 of the Nonsense Review. Unfortunately, we have to mourn the passing of one South South.
Yep. This is one of those where the historic / lore version of it is entirely in your court.
Yeah, so South South passed away in the year 220. There's not much to say about it. Allegedly, it was March 15th, but calendars are fucky-wucky around that time period, so it might not have been. The romanticized version is there's no polite way of putting it. It involves ghosts. The historical version is he got horrible migraines, and then about a week later he passed away. So it was almost certainly a medical thing. In the romanticization, he's haunted by the ghosts of his past, and they kill him.
Yeah, I got a headache. Oh, it's ghosts.
Ghosts, scary ghosts. Oh no,
scary ghost. It's a fucking scary ghost.
But yeah, the romance is a very much a fun version of events because you do get shit like that. But anyway, that's about all I got for 220. I tried to look up road records, and it's just like, who holds the current record for the 220-pound weightlifting? And I'm like, no one cares about this except for weightlifters, and they're not our demographic.
Typically not.
Very sorry if secretly Eddie Hall listens to our podcast religiously. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
It would be really cool, actually. Hello, Eddie. There's like a 62 in 8 billion chance. So there we go.
Yeah, it's low. But yes, I'm your host as always, Devon. Joining me eagerly as always is Rick.
Hello, everyone.
Today we are watching the first proper episode, I should say, of Ren and Stimpy. Rick, I don't know about you, but personally, I've only ever seen brief snippets of this show, and I've seen more parodies of this than the actual cartoon.
Yeah, so I've seen this. I know that Billy West is sick of doing Ren and Stimpy voices, because there are way more Ren and Stimpy fans that are rabid than fans of anything else he's done, like Futurama, for instance, or like anything else. And Ren and Stimpy fans are like the Rick and Morty fans of the late 90s.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want some background information?
Yeah, let's go.
Alrighty. Originally airing in 1991, I generally thought this show was much older. Turns out that was a deliberate art style choice by the creator, John Kricfalusi is how I'm going to pronounce it, but I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah.
The creator himself voices Ren, where Billy West takes the role of Stimpy, but apparently also voices about 90% of the roster, according to you.
Yep. He does.
A reboot did occur in 2003, where Billy West declined to reprise his role because he claimed, and I quote, "The show wasn't funny, and it probably would have damaged his career." And looking back at it, yeah, it probably would have.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been mid-Futurama at that point in 2003, wouldn't he? The original run.
In fact, maybe towards the end, if they did it just year on year.
I don't think it was year on year. I think it was like once every other year.
Oh, okay.
It feels like it. I don't know if it was or not. I haven't got Futurama information in front of me, but that's what it feels like. I will say the show was hardly free of controversy. A lot of the early instances were so mild, however, no one would bat an eyelid. Like, for example, they had to edit out the Christian cross from a character who's clearly meant to be the Pope's hat because they didn't want to offend Christians, and it's like, nowadays, it's like, no one gives a fuck. People have thicker skin. But this was the 90s.
Yeah. The one thing I do remember about Ren and Stimpy, though, as well, is that it was meant to come on the day that Eric Cantona retired, one of the most famous footballers in the world at the time, and he was famous for doing a bicycle kick on a fan.
That's not what he was famous for. He was a really good footballer.
Well, he was incredibly famous, but then he retired after there was controversy over him doing a bicycle kick on a fan because he was rather annoyed. And I was like, I wanted to watch Ren and Stimpy, not watch some fucking news thing about Eric Cantona.
Yeah, you would have been way too young for Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
But if it was when it debuted, you would have been like, what, 6?
Oh, it wasn't when it debuted. It was when it was new and interesting in the UK. Because when it debuted, it was in the US.
Okay, sure.
We didn't get it until like 95, 96.
Okay, fair enough then. But yes, the biggest controversy is, of course, the creator himself, this John Kricfalusi, who there's there's no polite way of putting it. He's a groomer and a rapist. Confirmed, to be honest. It's one of those really annoying things where the only reason why he wasn't prosecuted and charged is because the statute of limitations ran out by the time his victims stepped forward, which is not exactly an uncommon story. If you're 15 when the event happens, you're not exactly going to want to necessarily tackle that sort of battle yourself, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh well.
And I want to point out the creator gave the most limp-dicked apology possible afterwards, blaming undiagnosed mental conditions for it occurring, which is the least taking responsibility thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's a real scummy thing to do, to be like, I'm mentally ill and that's why I raped that teenager. It's not an okay thing to do. It just isn't. There's no way of sugarcoating it. That being said, there is another reboot set to come out. It was announced in like 2020. I might be getting the date a bit murky, but yeah, it's still on the cards. Billy Rest has been confirmed as reprising his role as Stimpy. The silver lining is that Crick Falusi is not involved in the project at all, and it's been explicitly stated will not be receiving a fucking penny for it.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's one of those where, like, usually I disagree with like cutting out the original creator, but because of this, this is the exception that proves the rule.
Well, again, it's like he did it. He 100% did it. There's receipts. The only reason it didn't go to trial is he couldn't be prosecuted for it anymore. That's the only reason why it's not a bigger blemish on his record. Like,
there's other people who are using that defense. Oh, even if I did do it, the statute of limitations is out by now, so who cares?
If only he did it in Illinois, where there is no statute of limitations for sexual crimes. Anyway, I digress. That's it. Sorry to put a bit of a downer on this. I didn't actually know about any of that before I did research, so I probably would have picked something else otherwise, but we're doing Ren and Stimpy. If you want to watch the new reboot that comes out, you can do so guilt-free, because that scumbag's not getting a penny. We'll get to that a bit later. Those of you familiar with the show probably already know that before we jump into the review and the react itself, what we like to do is talk about our weeks and the goings-on in the wide universe. So with that in mind, take it away, Rick.
Okie dokie. A couple of things have happened to me this week, at least. So I went to go see the new Lilo and Stitch reboot.
Did you actually see it?
/ remake. Yes, I actually went to see it.
Yeah, so I haven't seen this. I'm not going to see it. I refuse to be tricked by the trailers, and I've read some pretty damaging things. For example, Rick, you lied. Gantu's not in it.
Yeah, Captain Gantu in particular is not in it. They basically put the role of villain solely onto Jumba Jukiva.
That's dumb.
So, you know, the finale when Gantu kidnaps Lilo and tries to go out into space. Yeah, that's Jumba doing it, because he wants to take Stitch away and make Experiment 627.
Okay. Well, again, I'm just glad I didn't throw money at this, because I looked at the trailers and everyone seemed to be fooled by, oh my god, this one looks good. And I'm like, they've shown Lilo and Stitch and nothing else. I'm worried.
Yeah. The aliens do still look good.
Yeah, but I've been told for most of the film they're using human disguises.
Yeah, so they do flip-flop between them, and they actually use it as a mechanic at certain points. One of the new additions is a portal gun, and one of the ways that Jumba gets out of the infinite falling thing is by changing from his Zach Galifianakis disguise to his regular Jumba form and just getting himself stuck with his belly.
Is he actually played by Zach Galifianakis?
Yes, and he just does a Zach Galifianakis voice. There's no vaguely Eastern European Jumba anymore.
Okay, on the one hand, I'm bummed out by the voice. On the other hand, human Jumba being played by Galifianakis is perfect casting.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah.
What they should have done is they should have gotten the voice actor for Dutch from Red Dead Redemption 2, because he played the Russian guy in the Borderlands movie, so he would have been perfect.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Does he actually look like that as well?
Well, you've seen him. You've seen the Borderlands movie, right?
Oh, yeah, I have, yeah.
He looks like the guy from the game and sounds like the guy from the game. Perfect for Jumba.
Yeah, sweet.
And guess what? A fucking much lower price tag than Zach Galifianakis.
Well, they could also skimp a little bit on the younger actors, because Lilo is a debut actor and Nani is not that much older. Nani gets an expansion. She's now a wannabe marine biologist. David just lives next door with his auntie or grandma or whatever. She's a new character who has like chickens and goats or whatever. And the other thing that we lost is Pleakley is no longer queer.
Well, it's one of those where everything you've said I hate. So it's one of those where if you're wondering why I didn't interrupt Rick at all like I normally do with questions and queries, is because I already know most of this because it's been spoilt for me, because it's not a spoiler when I don't care. And I already know that I hate everything. Like, I know the new ending of the film just shits on the original as well.
But by the same token, it kind of makes sense, though. And they also have a portal gun.
I don't care if it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a different message. It's fuck it, abandon everything.
Yeah. But yes, the other thing that happened is that a friend of ours created an entire board game in an evening, and we played it, and it was fun.
How are you going to expand on that, Rick?
So it's basically the groundwork for a very rules light, all the rules on one page RPG system, and the way that it gets played is a little bit like an adventure game book in that the DM has a script, and you've got your actions to do as a party. You roll under it and succeed or fail, and then you get banes or boons depending on whether you succeed or fail to use in future things.
Okay.
So yeah, I think this has got legs. We might be doing a little bit more development on it, and maybe playing it with other friends as well. The thing between the world and myself is that Night Rain came out as of recording last night. I've played 2 games of it, and I'm loving it so far.
The only thing I know about Night Rain is that the creator has specifically said you should not play this game with less than 3 people because the balancing is fucked.
Oh yeah, the balancing, it's meant to be a 3-player game. You get straight into the action. The rounds are relatively short because it's like Fortnite. There's an impenetrable wall of fuck you that keeps closing in on you, and it's like super toxic when it goes past and you die immediately. But yeah, so far we've not gotten very far. One of the characters you unlock by beating the first boss, and one of the characters you unlock by buying them and beating them in the thingy. But other than that, the rest of it is just pretty much unlocked from the get-go.
Okay, sure. I was wondering about this, because it didn't look like a regular Souls game where you can make your build however you want depending on what weapons and combat style you want. It did very much look like, do you want to be Artorias? Do you want to be Solaire? Do you want to be, I can't think of a cleric, but a cleric? Then you pick that archetype and that's just who you use for the run. Is that more or less how it works then?
Kind of, except Artorias is a skin.
Okay, you know what I meant when I said Artorias.
Yeah, the basic character, the very first one, the Wilder, that's like the great sword and little shield guy. There are skins of him. One of them's Artorias, and one of them is the Faram set from Dark Souls 2.
Sure.
Because, they both look good with that kind of loadout. Anybody can use any weapon as long as you've got the level for it. You level up by, just rest at a grey spawn fire or whatever, but you activate those just by going near them.
Mm-hmm. So, is there a matchmaking at all, or do you have to go in with people you know?
There is matchmaking, and you can go in with 2 players, and it just matchmakes a third.
Okay, so you don't actually need to seek out a third person. You and a buddy can team up and be like, cool, and it will just put a solo player with you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's good. I don't know how long this game is going to live for.
Oh, maybe not very long. It's one of those where I'm almost entirely correct in my estimation that this is how I want multiplayer party-based games to go, in that like each individual character has its own like couple of extra moves, and everything else is kind of based on whatever you pick up. Like anybody can use a hammer. You just find a hammer, pick it up, and use it.
So, by the by,
that's not what you're starting as.
Is everything fixed, or is it a roguelike system?
Everything is kind of random.
Okay.
Even the map is kind of random within the confines of what that map is.
Yeah, so kind of like the Chalice dungeons.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's open Chalice dungeons rather than.
I got that part of it because otherwise you wouldn't be able to have the Nameless King.
Yeah. But yes, that's been fun so far, and looking forward to playing more of it probably later today.
Last question, price tag.
Less than a game.
Okay, number. You bought it, so I assume you know the number.
I think I paid about 24 quid for it.
You see, that's reasonable for a game that might potentially be dead in 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that to shit on the game, by the way. It's an online-only game. People lose interest. It's just the nature of these things.
Yeah, this is true. The other thing is that FromSoft have actually just outright said that this and the other one that they're making for the Switch are specifically for allowing members of the team to get good without the threat of failure and being fired for failing.
Yeah, they don't want another Dark Souls 2. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, other things. Yuri Lowenthal.
I wasn't expecting to hear that name today.
He may have accidentally leaked the Persona 4 remake.
Hang on. Isn't this the guy who said he's not going to be Yosuke?
Yes. So he's not returning as Yosuke.
Oh, by the way, neither's the Chie voice actor. They both made announcements saying then they're not returning.
Yeah, I'm guessing both Chies.
The one who's voiced Chie for the last 10 years. The most recent Chie. The one who's done her in all the spin-offs.
Yeah, and not the first Chie, yeah.
Yeah.
He seems to have forgotten that it's still a rumor. But yeah, he was begging Sega to let him return, and it's been so long since it's been rumored that it seems like he's accidentally confirming it.
Well, except here's the thing: is like he's done it, and the Chie voice actor has also said the same thing, which means I assume they're allowed to talk about it. Like anyway, if it's just them inquiring about roles and saying they've been told no, that doesn't confirm or deny anything, which means fuck off, Sega, you can't sue them.
Yeah, this is why it's may have leaked rather than has leaked. Other things, Randy Pritchford.
Being a dick again, I know, go on.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, about the $80 price point of Borderlands 4, he goes, real fans will make it work. Now he's put out like a 600-word Twitter essay, partly backtracking, but doing the internet apology thing of not actually saying sorry.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah. That's the only way you get them to say those two words.
I mean, it really is. Because it's one of those annoying legal things as well, where I understand why people in positions such as Pritchford make apologies that aren't apologies, because if you say sorry and actually mean it, that's then a legal admission of doing something wrong, and it's one of those really annoying Americanisms that infiltrates pretty much everything.
Yeah, and people can like go back on that and use that as a way to oust you as a member of the board or whatever.
Hey Randy, why don't you shut the fuck up and go enjoy your fucking piss lady?
Yeah, put your phone down. But the last thing on my list...
Been waiting for this, Rick, because you said there's a picture you're going to show me.
...is that Russia has declared war on Shrek.
No, they haven't. What does that actually mean?
There's a culture war on Western media, and the picture that they showed, like, over half of them are green.
Why is the Grinch on there? Twice?
Yeah, so... Oh, no, it's Sully's on there twice. Oh, yeah, the Grinch is on there twice as well, yeah.
Yeah, you got the Jim Carrey version, and you got the little soft toy. You got the soft toy of Sully and an actual... What is the actual translation of this, Rick? Have you got it? I assume so.
It's along the lines of...
No, I don't want along the lines of. I want what the translation you've read says.
Okay, I don't have the translation of that. I've got the. I'm just remembering the article, and the article is saying if you want to conquer a people, raise their children, and they're complaining that these Western icons look all nice and good, but turns out they've all got personality flaws. Oh no, we don't want that. So
yeah, Mike Wazowski's personality flaw is it's Billy Crystal.
And the Grinch's personality flaw is literally what sparks the story. He needs to grow, his heart needs to grow 3 sizes.
Yeah, Grinch's character flaw is he's a bastard.
Yeah, you can't have a positive character arc on a bastard without him starting as a bastard.
Oh, it's one of these really annoying ones where... It's really funny how this came out after Trump has had that very public falling out with Putin. It's almost as if Putin doesn't trust Trumpy to play ball anymore.
Yeah.
But he will, because he has to suck his dick every other weekend, so yeah. I'm pretty sure it's written in his contract. Am I allowed to say this? Is this libel?
It's parody.
Yeah, sure. I'm not actually talking about... I'm talking about Trump Kohai and Putin Senpai. There you go. Now it's parody.
Yeah. The following is a non-profit fan-based parody.
No Putin Domo Yamate! Oh god, I hate everything I just said.
A small loan of 1 million upvotes.
Stop it!
Anyway, that's it from me. How about you? How have you been? What have you seen?
Rick, I had an epic adventure this week. That adventure was me buying a chair.
You bought a chair. I have seen your chair. It is blue.
Yes, it is blue. I bought a blue one because it was blue. It was £20 less than all of the other colours. Don't know why.
Fantastic. Amazing. And if it's anything like me, it will mostly be used for putting clothes on when you're not sitting in it.
No, it's used to actually sit in because you know this about me, Rick. The audience may not know this, but pretty much since I've lived in this house, there's not been enough room in this bedroom to have somewhere to sit. I've been sitting on the end of the bed with pillows to help prop my back up, which is not good for my back. So I'm immensely relieved to have purchased this chair. Rick, you may remember on Monday I said I was going to Dunelm. I went to Dunelm, and that location doesn't sell chairs.
What a crap Dunelm.
So it was just like, oh, fuck. So I went into Poundland to make the trip not completely worthless, but whatever. And then I came home and I just bought it off Amazon. And yes, before anyone says, I know I make a big point of I don't buy from Amazon, but sometimes it is just I'm not a saint about it. I just do my best not to buy from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, I've got a chair. I'm sitting in it now for the podcast. It's very nice because my back doesn't fucking hurt.
Yeah.
So
that's a big old benefit.
It is. But yeah, that was my adventure from buying a chair. I went to Dunelm. That Dunelm doesn't sell chairs. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you don't sell chairs? You're a furniture shop.
Yeah. yeah. You might have been. You might have had a bit more luck at like IKEA or whatever. But oh well. It's in the past.
IKEA ones you have to build.
You do.
Dunelm
but you can also get them home.
Say again?
You do have to build them, but you can also get them home in almost any car.
That's true. I was fully prepared to just pay Dunelm to deliver it, but whatever. I would much rather have a fully made thing. To be fair, I had to assemble this chair, but assembling this chair was just screwing the legs on, which is nothing.
Yeah, put on leg.
Yeah. But anyway, that was my chair adventure. Fuck Dunelm. The other thing that happened was, of course, because we had to record a day early last week, I went to MCM.
Yeah. What'd you get?
I got quite a few things. I got a Lego blaster from Demon Hunter Bricks. I buy something from him quite regularly. It's the Mandalorian's blaster. I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, sure.
The big takeaway I got is something I wasn't looking for. I just happened to find. There's a series of kits by a company called Blockies, which are just Transformers, but they're static. They don't transform. So I bought Optimus Primal in both his gorilla form and his robot form, and I'm looking at. I've made them at this point. I'm looking at them on my shelf. I'm quite happy. That was the Stealth Victor for purchases. I did get really pissed off at the Bandai stall.
Okay.
So they had plenty of Gundam on display. I don't really care about Gundam. The guy I was with loves Gundam. He bought a kit. While he was buying his kit, because there was a fairly big queue, I fucked off to the other side of the stall where they had Digimon stuff, and I was like, oh cool, I want this. It was like an Omnimon figure. That's very cool. I want it. I wonder how much it is. I looked at the price tag. This is a lottery prize. Go buy a lottery ticket if you want a chance to win this. And I'm like, no, this is a convention. Fuck you. Let me buy it.
Yeah, that's crap.
Yeah,
oh well.
It was really shitty and it bummed me out. So I didn't buy anything Digimon related that time. I bought plenty of artwork, both in the print sense, and there was a guy who 3D printed and painted a bunch of custom tikis.
Okay.
So I got a Boba Fett tiki mask.
Sweet. It's kind of cute.
It is. It's nice and small. It was only 15 quid, and I was like, I know 3D printing is a relatively cheap way of making things, but still, I was like, 15 quid, and it's painted really well. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on my wall. That's nice. I love it.
Yeah, do it.
So yeah, that does it for MCM. I haven't got a lot to talk about there because I had my picture taken with a title belt because a local indie company, indie wrestling company was there. They were some cool lads. Unfortunately, they don't tour quite close to me for me to go to a show, but oh well.
Sure. Okay.
The last thing I want to talk about on the personal front is, again, something we can't elaborate upon because we wait you to watch it. I'm completely caught up on Andor. That series was great. I think the last episode had a few pacing issues, but other than that, it was great.
Cool beans. I also love the thing of Rogue 2, somehow Andor has returned.
I saw that on Reddit and I thought, oh, that's funny. If Disney think they could get away with it, they would do it too.
Yeah.
You ready for some news?
Let's go.
As of Sunday, aka if you're listening to this yesterday, disposable vapes will officially be banned in the UK.
Oh, okay, so just disposable ones, not the ones that you can, refill with cartridges.
Well, yeah, I assume the logic is because a bunch of disposable ones, hey, guess what? It's the same problem that we used to have with cigarettes before that got mostly banned. It's disposable, it's one and done, people will use them and just throw them on the fucking floor like animals. So if they're banned, guess what? I think the idea is that will stop.
Sure, yeah, okay.
So there's that. It's really interesting because I read the article and it's like there's a £200 fine if you're caught, or jail time. And I'm like, what's the point in the jail time? Like, all we do is complain about how prisons are full in the UK. Why are you putting jail time on this? The fine is enough.
It's to discriminate.
Okay, but you get my point now, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's also this really funny thing where there's a bunch of kids at work who vape. I say kids, they're over 18, but they're kids to me. At work who vape, and I overheard a discussion where they're like, yeah, so you got a bunch of people bulk buying disposable vapes because you won't be able to sell them in the UK either. And it's like, yeah, but if you get caught smoking one of these, I'm calling it smoking, vaping one of these disposables, you still get the fine. Why are you bulk buying them? There's no point.
Yeah.
At that point, just change and buy a refillable one. There was also another guy discussing about, if you do this, and this, you can turn a disposable vape into a permanent vape. And it's like, I've seen the cost of vapes. It's much easier to just buy one.
Yeah.
Some people are fucking ridiculous. That's all I'm saying.
I also kind of vapes are in a weird position where I agree with them being in the world to help people quit smoking, but I don't agree with how they end up being used, which is just kids doing vapes instead of cigs.
But it's not even kids. Adults also do it now because it's just harder and more annoying to get cigarettes.
Yeah.
Also, you have this really arsehole viewpoint where vaping isn't smoking, which means you can vape in places where it says no smoking. And it's like, no, you really can't.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yes.
You ready for some author news?
Let's go.
We don't like talking about J.K. Rowling, but we're going to do so today momentarily. There is a certain subsect of person who has weirdly defended J.K. Rowling, saying that, yeah, she shouldn't be saying what she should be saying, but it's just words. Well, guess what, motherfucker? She is a billionaire, and she's officially founded a, I don't know if you'd call it a charity, but I think she's calling it as such, where their number one goal is to get rid of trans people in effectively public spaces, and it's not good. You've now got a billionaire openly fighting to eradicate transness.
Yeah, she's calling it something like the Women for Women Alliance or something, but it's what it really means is trans erasure and eradication.
Yeah, she for some reason she doesn't. There's no rationality behind the getting rid of trans people discussion. There just really isn't. It's just bigots being bigots have just changed their target. None of these people are rational. None of them. The annoying thing is that there is a legitimate discussion to be had on one of their talking points. That talking point being, should trans women be in recovery spaces for women who have suffered, horrible circumstances? There's a legitimate discussion to be had there. One that I am not qualified to talk about, so I don't. However, instead of addressing that, they go, no, trans people shouldn't be allowed in bathrooms, which has always been a ridiculous fucking conversation.
Yeah, fucking... Jesus. If going for a poo is the time when you're going to be perving on someone, then that's I think that's more of that's more of a projection thing than anything else, isn't it?
Well, the one that I find funny is someone explained it. I think it was a comedian, can't remember which one, but it said, do you genuinely think that there's a pervert out there who is just like, oh, that woman's gone into the women's bathroom, I can't go in there because I'm not a woman?
Yeah.
But suddenly they say they're a woman and it's okay. You really think there's a weird sexual fiend who has that moral distinction? Of course there fucking isn't. And at the end of the day, you bring up a point. I've been in gender neutral bathrooms. People are just pissing and shitting. That's all the bathroom is. It's such a pointless discussion. But we need to circle around a little bit. These people who are trying to exclude trans people and get rid of them, they don't want trans people to use the quote-unquote correct bathroom. They want trans people to not go outside.
Oh, yeah. They want them to not go outside, not exist, and the only way for a trans person to be be accepted by a transphobe is to detransition.
It's just, I'm just bringing it up because JK sucks and she's just cementing why she sucks.
Yeah,
It's awful. It's truly awful. In other awful news, George R.R. Martin released a very depressing not a blog.
Oh, what happened?
He's hyping up a new project that he's part of that has just released, and he's got a little footnote that I'm going to read pretty much in its entirety on his not a blog. So brace yourself. It's a bit long. It's a couple of paragraphs.
Okie dokie.
I'm quoting here. This is not my words. This is George R.R. Martin on his not a blog, which is a blog. That's the joke. Haha. I know. Some of you will just be pissed off by this, as you are by everything I announce here that is not about Westeros or the Winds of Winter. You have given up on me or on the book. I will never finish Winds. If I do, I will never finish A Dream of Spring. If I do, it won't be any good. I ought to get some other writer to pinch hit for me. I am going to die soon anyway because I am so old. I lost all interest in A Song of Ice and Fire decades ago. I don't give a shit about writing any longer. I just sit around and spend my money. I edit the Wild Cards book too, but you hate Wild Cards. You may hate everything else I have ever written, the Hugo winners and Hugo losers, A Song for Lyre and The Dying of the Light, Sand Kings and Beauty and the Beast, This Tower of Ashes and The Stone City, Old Mars and Old Venus and Rogues and Warriors and Dangerous Women, and all the other anthologies I edited with my friend Gardner Dozier. I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's how I'm saying it. You don't care about any of those, I know. You don't care about anything but Winds of Winter. You've told me so often enough. Thing is, I do care about them, and I care about Westeros and Winds as well. The Starks and Lannisters and Targaryens, Tyrion and Asher, Dany and Daenerys, the dragons and the direwolves, I care about them all more than you can ever imagine. These are the words of a broken man.
Yeah, they are. One who's been beaten half to death by words.
The thing is, I got very little sympathy for George R.R. Martin. I don't give him nearly as much shit as a lot of his fans do, and I can understand why they're getting to him. The reason why he gets so much shit from his fans is because for about, it feels like 7 years, he would constantly give updates about Winds saying, oh, it's almost done, it's almost there. And if he never did that, I don't think he'd get nearly as much shit as he does.
Yeah, like the fact that South Park were parodying that exact behaviour, it feels like 15 years ago now.
I mean, potentially, like, it's one of those where I am one of the people who has just given up on that book series being finished, and I'm like, fine, whatever. What bothers me a lot is when it gets, George specifically brings it to the forefront of just like, yeah, it's either not, I'm doing it, I'm working on it. It's like, I've never once for a moment doubted that he's working on it. He's a slow writer. Everybody knows this. It's his writing style. That's fine. I don't really care. I've never really cared about that. It was just always annoying when you get, yeah, it's almost done, guys, and it's like, is it?
Yeah, when he's very obviously working on something else instead as well, which is also fine, but just don't put hope in people's hearts when you know it's miles away.
I also want to point out, if someone else ends up finishing A Song of Ice and Fire instead of George, I won't be reading it.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
I care about this because I like George R.R. Martin's writing style. I like how he's written the books. I would like to see them finished. Is that going to happen? Maybe not. I've made my peace with it. It sounds like George is very bitter, and again, if he's getting as even half the amount of, I don't want to call it hate mail, but it probably is hate mail that I think he's getting, I don't blame him for getting annoyed.
Sure.
I understand I'm not one of these fans who throw shit at an author or a creator because they're not making stuff fast enough for me. You know? But I realise I'm quite probably in the minority on that front.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, anyway, I thought I'd share it because it's relevant to my sphere of interest, and honestly, it was quite depressing to read.
Yeah, it very definitely was. It was, not very good. Not very good.
Rick, this is not a wrestling podcast.
What's happened?
Nothing major. I saw a really funny interview featuring Cody Rhodes where he was asked about Nintendo games, and he went off on a 1-minute rant about how Mario Party's a complete work.
Oh.
So for those of you who don't know, there's a work and a shoot in wrestling. Shoot means it's real. Work means it's all kayfabe. And he goes off on this rant about, yeah, don't get me started on Mario Party. It's a complete work. You win the entire game, and then you get this bullshit where this fuck gets 3 stars for nothing. Granted, he didn't swear because he's not that type of person, but my god, if you're interested, Rick, just type in Cody Rhodes Mario Party and you'll get the clip. It's very funny. I highly recommend anyone to watch it.
Yeah, I'm queuing this up because I will forget.
Rick, for the sake of the audience and for me, what are we doing today?
We're doing the Ren and Stimpy Show, the original, Season 1, Episode 1, Stimpy's Big Day. 3, 2, 1, and go.
So this would have been one of Billy Rest's earlier roles then, wouldn't it?
Yes. Oh, this is very Cartoon Network looking.
It is, which is funny because this is a Nickelodeon show.
Yeah. It looks exactly like every other Cartoon Network show that was made in like the early and mid-90s, like Two Stupid Dogs and whatever.
Hey, guess who made Two Stupid Dogs?
Yeah, there we go.
It's literally the same creator. I do remember as a child on the playground, and when I say child, about 8 years old, I remember on the playground there was a big log that people would sit on and just chill around. And I don't know why, but as a kid, I would always run my finger along the grooves, and there'd be a fine layer of dirt in these grooves, and it just felt really good.
This reminds me a lot of the Slinky thing. Slinky, Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy.
Well, that might very well be what it's parodying, Rick.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stimpy's meant to be a cat, apparently.
Yeah, I never got that when I was a kid.
Whereas Ren is clearly a chihuahua.
Yeah, a chihuahua.
Have you seen that tweet that someone edited of Pitbull going, just tweeting out saying, if I could be any dog, I'd probably be a chihuahua. And then it just cuts to him tweeting 2 minutes later going, wait,
no. Yeah, if I'd have known what Kitty Litter was at the time, I probably would have caught that Stimpy just sits in the kitty litter box.
To be fair, he's not drawn like a cat.
He's not, no.
That's another thing as well. It's like I feel like Ren and Stimpy was like the innovator of like, let's just draw gross things.
Oh, exactly, absolutely. Yeah, Stimpy's like halfway between Taz and the red guy from Cow and Chicken.
Yeah, he does just look like a red Taz.
Yeah.
So I want to point out, we're 2.5 minutes in, we've had precisely like 2 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, and it's just Ren going, "Don't watch TV, it's shit."
Man, to go back in time and entertain children from the 90s, my god, this is fucking dull.
It is. Well, it was just... It's not even you're watching the brain rot. You're watching a stupid character get affected by brain rot.
Not gonna lie, those fucking patterns gave me a slight fucking... I was like, oh, I need to look away, Jesus.
Yes.
Oh, it's fucking Bert or Ernie, I forget which one.
Ernie. Because Bert's the long one, Ernie's the round one.
Yeah, he looks like the long one. Because of the hair.
I suppose. I was thinking he looks like the round one because his face is round.
So are 95% of human characters in anything, Rick.
Sure. $47 million words or less.
I don't know what the world record is for a poem, but I can't imagine poems get much... Unless you're doing like a fucking Shakespearean stanza. Like, not many poems would be more than like 150 words.
Yeah. At that point, it's basically not a poem.
It also
it's
depends...
A saga.
I was going to say, also... Well, sagas are poems. Like, the Epic of Beowulf is technically a poem, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. But, like...
Go on.
Are those like burnt sperms?
I don't think they were meant to be sperms. They were probably just meant to be hairs, Rick.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, geez, yeah, that is Billy West, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just Fry. Is this going to be one where he's thinking about writing all these things and he's just going to have scribbled?
I mean, potentially could be the gag. Oh god, I hate that. Ugh. I won't say who it is, but I do know someone who will take their cutlery when they're eating and they'll use the handle to scratch inside their ears, and every time they do it, I go, Can you fucking not?
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing you should put inside your ear is your elbow, apparently.
Well, yeah, because you shouldn't put anything in your ear. That's the joke. But it's one of those where, like, it makes me hurt to look at someone scratching inside their ear with the handle of a fucking fork.
Yeah, something yeah, exactly.
Yep. 2 stamps, 6 stamps. Fuck, that's like $3.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Especially back then.
I mean, the big one is obviously the original Monopoly game for McDonald's, where like they're still being sued.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to very definitely show that they do have all of the pieces available.
Well, again, it wasn't even McDonald's. It's because the original one was run by an outside company, and they just straight up all of the top prizes they just gave to their mates.
Yeah, they gave the prizes to their mates, and then didn't print the any more copies of the things that let you win.
Yeah, of course. So it's rigged. Or as Cody Rhodes would say, it's all a work. To be fair, Chihuahuas are bastards like that in real life.
They are, yes.
You know it's a fucked up neighbourhood because they got cinder blocks in the garden. For no other reason other than to look ghetto.
Yep. That's a broad bed.
Are they meant to be gay?
I don't know.
I bet if you went on like fanfiction.net or something, there's probably like 1 or 2 fanfictions.
Yeah, when the $47 million. The first thing you get when you start Googling it are Ren and Stimpy. The top result is are Ren and Stimpy gay?
I feel like it can be an analogue for a gay couple, but it seems like a really unflattering depiction of one.
Yeah.
Whether they're gay or just friends, it's definitely a toxic relationship.
Yeah, like, I think they're basically meant to be interpreted like Bert and Ernie.
Oh, you mean that Sesame Street insists aren't gay, despite being gay-coded as fuck?
Yeah, gay-coded as fuck. They take baths together. They sleep together in the same bed. Oh, sorry, separate beds that they push together.
I have seen the image of Ernie being like, "Hey Bert, I got that limited edition stamp to complete your stamp collection for your birthday." And he goes, "Oh, thank you, Ernie." And the Tumblr post underneath is just like, "Man, I love gay people."
Oh.
Oh, I guess Stimpy's not gay, or at the very least bisexual.
Yeah. That was a problem even back then, was bi-erasure.
Well, there was even that I remember there was a line in Friends which I don't like Friends. I think it's a really bad show because everyone in it is a dickhead. That's just my own personal interpretation. I realise I'm in the minority, and that's fine. But I do remember there's a song where they're talking about bisexuals from like Phoebe, and the line goes, And some folk are bisexual, though others say they're just kidding themselves. And it's like, fucking, that's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It was the late 90s, though, so it's just another... That's not why I dislike the show. I dislike the show because, again, everyone in it's an arsehole. Joey's the only one with an excuse because he's a simpleton.
I love that. Asking someone a follow-up question and then saying shut up. Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's the age-old adage of it, like, never meet your heroes.
Yep.
It's really unfortunate as well, because in showbiz, of all things, you really want a mentor who's looking out for you.
Yeah. Like 100%.
Don't like that. I mean, it's a very fun visual gag, but I didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? It made me feel uneasy.
Yeah, peel those off and replace it with the... I think I might have seen this one a long time ago.
Quite possibly. That's a shite wig. Oh god, it's just Trump.
It's a Trump wig, yeah.
It's fresh and redundant. Yeah, you called it as well, Rick. I can absolutely imagine watching this as a parent. Well, I say watching it as your child watches it as a parent and being like, oh god, society's ruined.
Yeah, absolutely. Zox.
Man, I miss having prizes in cereal. Sugar crusted, ugh.
Sugar bombs. Only sugar itself has more sugar inside it.
I'm gonna imagine this isn't real, and it's in his head.
Almost certainly. We hit wooden rock.
I don't know if you ever got it as a kid, Rick, but I do know that when I was a child, sometimes when I didn't want to eat, it would be like, you will eat all of this because there are children starving in Africa, and it's like, okay, but I don't want to eat.
Yeah. And also, I'm right here, and they're all the way over there.
Okay, that wasn't part of the equation. It's just the bullshit that parents would say to get you to do things.
Yeah. Worse things happen at sea, you know.
Oh, I see. Jesus.
The companies are going to be really happy with that because you consume more.
Yeah. Buy our $1 box of cereal, which nowadays is about $12, and just for this crappy piece of plastic we throw inside, that definitely won't give you asbestos poisoning.
Oh, it won't. It comes in a packet.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, because that's all you need. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah. It was fine. No, not really. It wasn't great. It's not held up very well. There are probably better episodes. There's definitely better episodes of Ren and Stimpy.
I distinctly remember one episode, or not an episode, but I've seen the clip that still to this day makes me wince just thinking about it, where they pull out, I can't even remember if it was Ren or Stimpy, they pull out one of their teeth and it's annoyingly realistically drawn with the roots and it just makes this horrible screeching noise to indicate pain, and it's awful. And I don't like this kind of humour. I like slapstick. I don't like gross out shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think my thing about eyeballs might have come from Ren and Stimpy.
Very possible. Like, they had eye stuff in this episode.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as, gouging out an actual eyeball and crushing it between someone's toes. But
no, not quite.
Yeah, but yeah, it's rather gross sometimes just for the sake of being gross. Ren, I remember being a cute character.
Oh god, yeah, no, you remember that incorrectly because even I knew he was gross.
Oh yeah, he's one of those where the character design is cute.
It's fucking not.
Okay, little rat thing, and it wasn't until a lot later that I found out that he was meant to be a chihuahua and not just like a weird rat.
To be fair, I don't blame you because he's got a weirdly long tail, which chihuahuas do not have.
Yeah, he's got the rat tail. His ears look more rattish than doggish.
Chihuahuas' ears look like that though.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Plus, I think at the time I only knew about applehead chihuahuas.
I don't know what the fuck you mean.
Well, there's applehead and deerhead, isn't there?
No. When you classify chihuahuas, you got long hair and short hair. You don't really do it based on the head.
I'm pretty sure you do, but oh well.
You don't. I'm telling you this firmly.
Okay. But yeah, not the greatest episode we've ever done. How about you? What do you think?
Oh yeah, God, it was awful. I thought it'd be a nice blast from the past to have a bit of an older cartoon to steer us away from the fun that is Star Wars and space, but it wasn't good. We talked about a lot of things that weren't happening on the screen because we just kind of wanted to distract ourselves from how awful this episode was.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that you watch while you're stoned.
I don't think it'd even be fun during that either.
Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, because he got his head screwed off, and they flushed his brain down the toilet, which was also his head.
I'll give it its one saving grace. I think the final parting gag of just replace the cereal so you could take the toy out. I thought it was quite funny. Showed off Stimpy's innocence, as it were, but for the most part, it just wasn't good. It wasn't enjoyable, and this is another early example of like this wasn't episodic, so everything resets at the end of each episode. Obviously, because Stimpy doesn't remain separated from Ren, and neither of them are millionaires.
Yeah, and half the time, some of them die.
I mean, quite possibly, but yeah, I think it's safe to say neither of us are high on this. So let's get to the fun part of our wind down initially with Rick. Do you have a stand-up favourite moment?
Not really. So the closest thing I've got is when we were reminded about getting toys in cereal, and when we remembered how much fun that was when we were little. And you'd get some little piece of shit that cost nothing, but it was the reason that you bought that one and not the Roller Cola Shop's own brand.
Yeah, and for me, it wasn't even cereal. It was more crisps for the Tazos.
Yeah, Tazos. Yeah.
Guys listening, we're old. If you were born after the year 2000, you probably don't remember Tazos.
I think they still make them in Australia or something, but yeah. But yeah, how about you? Do you have not a weakest link? Do you have a... It might as well be weakest link, straight to weakest link. Do you have a favourite moment?
Yeah, my favourite moment was the cereal bit. It was a good bit. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Coincidentally, it also happened to be the only bit without a gross out piece of artwork. So that might be one of the only reasons why I was like, yeah, this is a good bit of the show. I enjoyed it. Fun little bit of cartoon there.
Yeah.
All right, moving on then, I guess. Rick, weakest link.
It was the little blank bits of nothing. There were too many of them.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like just showing Stimpy just standing there. Then he blinks and he stands there longer. Yeah, I get it. He's stupid. He's vacant. But like it's an 11-minute episode.
It's called making a cartoon on the cheap by having 90% nothing to draw.
Yeah, 90% use a frame you've already used while playing some music over it. Oh, man. Yeah, that in particular. How about you? Do you have a weakest link?
I mean, my weakest link was very similar, to be honest, because I remember there was an extended period of time where the only thing changing was the background, and the background colours were changing so quickly while having these little swirls in it that I even told you when it was happening, Rick, I said, I have to look away from the screen because it's making me feel a bit dizzy.
Yeah, where it went like black and white bits with it
wasn't black and white. Dots. It was very colourful.
Okay, but yeah, the colours like faded to black and white towards the end.
But they might. I probably wasn't looking at that point.
And it reminded me a lot of when you, when you press too hard on your eyes accidentally and then you open them and you've got like floaties.
I definitely get where you're coming from on that one, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like that, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. I don't have epilepsy or anything like that, but I imagine if you have something triggered by colours and stuff, that probably isn't good for you.
Yeah, it looked like optical nerve damage in process.
God, that's a good description. And this was the early 90s. There were no epilepsy warnings. If you have epilepsy of a child, it's like, don't watch TV or you might die, kid.
This was before Porygon.
Jesus Christ, it would have been, wouldn't it? That was like 96.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway, Rick, I know it's a tough one. Who are you giving your MVP award today?
It's got to be to Billy West.
Has it?
I mean, who else are you going to give it to?
I'm going to tell you who I'm giving it to, just to save us some time.
You're giving it to Stimpy?
I'm giving it to nobody. This show was awful. Nobody stood out.
Okay.
Like, the background's fine, mediocre. They worked for the series, the animation. What animation? It was so bare bones. Billy West, I don't want to slag you off, but you're just Billy West in this show. You didn't make a character, you know? You could replace Billy West with anybody. Case in point, they did it in 2003, and it wouldn't have affected the show. I'm glad this helped Billy West's West's career, because I think he's a very talented voice actor, I don't think this is a very good display of those skills.
I get you. But
yes, sing Billy West praises, because I don't want to take the guy down a peg. I love that guy.
Yeah, it's a good Billy West role, and all I could think of while listening to it was, oh man, Futurama was good, wasn't it?
It was. That did come out like 10 plus years after this.
It did, which is a lot sooner after this than Futurama's beginning was from now.
God, Jesus, don't.
Yep. We're close. We are now closer to 2050 than we are to the millennium.
No, not strictly true. We've got like 3 days before that's true.
And those 3 days are the editing time.
Fuck, you're so right. Yeah, when this episode comes out, you'll technically be correct. Oh, you got me. You got me with the
best
Hermes.
kind of correct, yes.
And on that bombshell, guys, let us know in the comment section down below what your memories are of Ren and Stimpy. Are we completely wrong? Are we looking at this from too modern of a mindset? Maybe we are. We want to hear from you. Bear in mind, this came out before I was born.
Yeah, tell us better episodes of Ren and Stimpy, why not?
Oh, absolutely. If you've got an episode of Ren and Stimpy that you're like, this will blow your fucking minds, watch it. We'll totally take that on board and we will do it. We're not against revisiting things we've watched.
Yeah, like I know they did the adult series that was like specific. I think it was for MTV only.
If that was the 2003 one, bear in mind Billy West explicitly said it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
But yes, let us know in the comment section down below on the YouTubes or the Spotify. You can also send us an email at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Give us something insightful, witty, or just plain informative, and we'll read it out in a future episode. But apart from that, join us again next week where we'll be doing something completely different.
Yeah, bye everybody.